What's up, No Shame Gang?
Hey, bitch.
It's your girl, Unapologetically Me, and today in my kitchen, guys, we're going to be cooking something very simple, very easy, very quick. We have on the menu meatloaf, homemade potato salad, homemade fried apples, canned green beans, hot water cornbread. Those are the things I will be making tonight. I'm still a little under the weather. Haven't been able to bring y'all many mukbangs because I ain't been feeling like eating like that. But I'm eating, but not like that. But anyway, so that's what we're doing today. So enjoy the video. Okay, let's get into it. You guys already know. Keep it clean, keep it cute. I'm always going to start off with my, sinks and stuff freshly washed because I use those all the time. And right now what I'm doing, I'm finna soak some apples, some fresh apples that I will be cooking for my fried apples. They're called Envy. They're very good, guys, very sweet. To me, they're almost like candy. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm getting those in the water so they can be soaking. Okay, guys, right here I'm mind struggling. I'm trying to decide, do I want to keep these two to eat because they that good, or do I want to just go on and cook them? I ended up go ahead cooking all of them, but it was a struggle for me not to save two to eat later. And so now I'm going to also on the other sink, in the other side of the sink, also be letting my potatoes soak for my potato salad. Now that the potatoes have soaked, we're going to put them in a pot with the eggs and let them boil for about maybe a good 45 minutes. I use a little salt for the eggs that it helps the shells to peel off easier. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get these covered. And like I said, let them cook for about 45 minutes. And after a while, when you think they're done, a good 45 minutes to an hour, you want to go ahead and reduce the heat, and then you're going to go ahead and drain your water. Then I pour a little cold water in mine after I drain the hot water off. And you're going to let them soak in that water until they kind of cool down, until it's bearable for you to, go in and pick them up and stuff. So you'll let it set aside about maybe a good, in some cold water, maybe about a good, I would say, at least 10-15 minutes before you go and try to handle that stuff. It needs to set, because don't forget, they've been boiling for a while, and you don't want to try to handle them right now. You have to let them cool off, but I know that's kind of like common sense, but I'm saying it anyway for the ones in the back. Okay, so after they have set and cooled, then we're going to go ahead and get our ingredients. Like I said, I'm always keeping it very simple, very fast, very, very good, very quick. So just 4-5 ingredients: relish, a little sugar for sweetener, a little vinegar for tartness. I like that twang in mine. Duke's mayo, a little mustard for color, and celery seeds. We're going to get the potatoes peeled and chopped up. After that, we'll start to add our ingredients. I chop up the eggs and the green peppers, and then we'll go ahead and just pour those in. You put as many to your liking, the way you like them. I kind of like a crunch to my potato salad. Okay, then I sprinkle celery seed just to my liking right on top of the potatoes and the green peppers because just I want that flavor to hit the potatoes directly. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and cut my boiled eggs up. I'll cut up, it depends on how many potatoes I boil. If I boil like 4 potatoes for potato salad, I'm at least going to use like 5 eggs, like 1 egg for each potato, then an extra egg. And you guys know my motto, keep it clean, keep it cute. Clean as you go. It's a good look. Oh yeah, guys, I just thought of another saying. Keep it clean while you cook. It's a good look. What y'all think? Drop it down in the comments. What y'all think about that saying? Okay, guys, now I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. We've got the relish. I ran out in this one, but I bought more, so I just want to go ahead and use every drop. I'm generous with that because I like a twang. I like it sweet. And yeah, I like it sweet. But I also like it a little tart too. That's why I add a little, usually just a cupful of vinegar, but you have to adjust it to your liking. After I do that, I'd put just a dab of mustard, not too heavy because we're only using that for the color. Then I use sugar, of course. Put a little sugar on it. That boosts the sweetness of the pickle relish. Then ain't nothing like Duke's mayo. It's the best. If I gotta use mayo, I prefer Duke's. Okay, y'all know I love the potato masher when doing potato salad, mashing up ground beef, any of that good stuff, sweet potatoes, anything. The potato masher is a good utensil used for a variety of dishes. So after I get all that all mashed up and mixed in real good, taste tested and added other ingredients, this is what it looks like. I then store it in my container. Yes, I do use my Blue Bonnet butter containers. They're very handy. And I put it in the refrigerator to chill till the rest of the food is ready. Okay, now that we got the potato salad done, let's work on the homemade fried apples. They've been soaking the whole time. So now what I want to do, I got to get them peeled. First, I'm going to go ahead and rinse my little pan out that I'm going to be cooking them in and set that to the side. Then after I've done all that, I'm going to go ahead and start to peel my apples. Okay, guys, now that I have all the apples peeled and diced up the way I like them, we're going to start to get ready to prepare them for the oven. And the ingredients I will be using will be pure cane sugar, cinnamon, lemon juice, and butter. Very simple, very easy, very good, very quick. The first thing I want to do, I always like to put my butter on first because it's a good accent to the flavors, and I want it on directly on top of the apples. And guys, I'm very heavy handed with the butter and sugar and things like that because I like my taste. My flavor is decadent. I love, if I can get it decadent, that's what it's going to be. And that is rich flavors. I love them. So now I'm going to go ahead and shake up a little lemon juice. I like the Real. That's one of my favorite brands. But I just go ahead and I just douse just a little bit. Don't go too crazy with that because you don't want to overpower it, but just hit it here and there, and that should be good enough. And me, guys, I'm always going to never, ever, ever put my cinnamon on top of my sugar. I've did that once, and it made it just look like dried up sugar with brown specks in it. So I like to pour my cinnamon directly on top of the butter because I know it's going to melt and fall right off into those apples, and the cinnamon is going with it. Then what I do, I go ahead, I get my sugar. I'm a little heavy-handed with the sugar. But in the end, it all balances out with the lemon juice. It tames that sugar and that sweetness, okay? And those are the ingredients that I use. After I get everything in there, it might be looking about like this. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and get our aluminum foil out because we're going to have to get this stuff covered. When I'm putting my aluminum foil on, I kind of do it in a tight seal, and then I run my fingers around the trim of the pan just because it keeps the juices from overflowing, and getting in the oven. Okay, and after that, we get them put in the oven where they will bake on 350, generally about a good 45 minutes. I just cook mine until they get translucent. Now we're going to go ahead and start on the meatloaf. These are the ingredients I use. Like I said, very simple, very easy, 5 ingredients, very quick, and very good. If I don't, my fillers will be bread today. I didn't have any oatmeal. I use crackers, bread, oatmeal, all that good stuff. Here, as you see, I've already broken up the meat, put in the bell peppers, the onions. I just added a little Worcestershire sauce. Now I'm putting in, and I already got the egg in there too, 1 egg in there to hold your meat together. So I just used about a half a can of the tomato sauce. That's just to, lube it up a little bit, give it a little juice. Like I just stated, I'm using bread as my filler today. I normally like to use oatmeal. It's healthier, and I just like it. It's fluffier, but I didn't have any today. So I use bread. And what you do when you use bread, this helps hold the meatloaf together along with the egg. You want to dice it up and make sure you dice them up good because I kind of like half-stepped and made them a little too big, but y'all will see what I mean by that when you see the outcome. But it was still pretty good. I mean, it was still really good. Okay, guys, so what we normally doing here, we're getting it all mixed up. You want to make sure you got all your ingredients mixed up. And once you got your ingredients mixed up, what I normally do, any excess that's still in the pot, like maybe chunks of onion, bell pepper, anything like that, I go ahead and stick them right on inside that meat. And then what you do, yes, go ahead, clean as you go, because it can be messy. This is when I wish I had some gloves. I normally cook with them, but they ain't been a luxury here lately. So I'll just keep my hands clean, keep my surfaces clean, and keep it moving. So what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this. I normally just shape mine into like a big ball. And once I got everything in there and it's, staying together, that's what the bread and the egg is for. Once you get it formed into a ball, what I normally do is I lay it down and then I flatten it out. You can either make it thick or you can make it flat. It's up your choice. I normally make mine thick, but if I'm ready for it, I'm trying to do some kind of quick, I'll flatten it out because it's easier to cook flatten out. It takes a short amount of time if you flatten it out, but it's your choice. So after I do that, I go ahead and get my pan rinsed out that I'll be using to put my meatloaf in. And then we're going to get our meatloaf put in here and flattened out. We're also going to go ahead and get that covered and put in the oven. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get my meatloaf covered. I use the same technique with any kind of meat or anything I cook and put in the oven. I always crease it around once I get it on because it helps it not to run over so much in the oven. So with all that being said, I got that covered. Once I get it covered, I'm going to pop it right on in the oven and let it be cooking while I prepare the macaroni and cheese next. Okay, guys, here we have my fried apples. I did them the day before. This is a 2-day thing. And I did the apples and the potato salad the day before. Now I'm just putting them in the oven to reheat with the dinner for today. And once we get all that in, we're going to go ahead and prepare our green beans. And all we're doing, these are canned green beans, is just going to put them in a pot. I normally cook them on high for a little while to get it started. Once it becomes a good hard boil, I normally cut it down. And until then, I go ahead and I start to add my seasonings, which I would use to flavor my green beans, because even though they're canned and it's already seasoned, I like to add my own to that too. And all I'm adding, guys, is a couple of dabs of butter. And then I'll just add my favorite seasoning because it's all seasonings in one. And that's all. That's it. I cover it and be on by my business. Okay, and this is my seasoned water for my macaroni and cheese. We got to let that come to a boil before we put in the noodles. Meanwhile, green beans over here bumping. They bumpy. So we're going to let them just go on and do what they do. In the meanwhile, I'm checking on the apples. They looking good. Got that caramelized brown look from the cinnamon. Y'all know y'all buy those Lux cans apples with the cinnamon. This is them homemade. Okay, not only that, over here, y'all, our water done start boiling for our macaroni, so we're going to add a little oil to keep them from sticking together while they're cooking. And then we're going to go ahead and get our pasta and get it poured in and let them cook for at least about a good 15-20 minutes until al dente. Green beans looking good. They looking like they ready. So what we gonna do, because remember they're canned, so you don't want to let them cook too long. The seasons look like they're saturated and they looking pretty good, so we're gonna go ahead and cut those down. Meanwhile, the noodles for the macaroni are cooking, and once they're done, we're gonna go ahead and take them over to the sink where we'll have a colander waiting to strain the juice out of them. Once we get that all cleaned out and stuff, we're going to go over and get our pot, and we're going to go ahead and get that pasta drained. Okay, now that we got the pasta into the colander, now we're going to go ahead and rinse it off thoroughly, and then I'll meet you guys back at the stove. Okay, the pasta's ready. Now we're going to get it seasoned up for the macaroni. I use a little salt. Right behind that, I add a little pepper. And then what I do after I get the salt and pepper in there, I go ahead and get that stirred up real good and make sure that it covers all the pasta and stuff. And because before when you put the butter in, it gets stuck to the butter, so I go ahead and stir it up first, and then I put my butter in. And once I get that butter melted, then I go ahead and start to put my milk in. And the thing about the milk, guys, is I like for the milk to be just right there at the noodles. So like that right there, it's close, but I'm going to add a little bit more because I need it to be right there. So I'll look at it. If it don't look quite right, I'll put a little bit more because I use a lot of cheese, guys, and that's why I have to have so much milk, because I dang on near use a whole block of Velveeta, a whole loaf. So I go ahead and get my cheese and stuff diced up in there. Y'all know I love cheese. And then after I get it all diced up, I let it melt. Okay, and while the cheese is melting in the pasta, I go ahead and grate up my cheddar. Y'all know I like a good grated cheddar. So that's what I do, and I get that prepared for my topping on my macaroni once the Velveeta is melted in. Really, really good. Okay, once my cheese is good and melted, and I make sure that it's really melted, all of it's melted, I go ahead and get ready to put it in the pan. Once we get it poured over in the dish, look at all that creamy cheese. That's nothing but cheese juice. But once we get it poured over into the pan, then we will go ahead. I will get as much out of the bottom as I can, but I'm not going to scrape the bottom because I don't want that part in there. Once we get it poured over into the pan, then we go right ahead and get our shredded cheese, get that all poured out. Then we're going to go ahead and get the shredded cheddar and just put it all over the top of the macaroni and cheese. And I make sure I have pretty much of it covered, but it ain't got to be completely covered because we already got a lot of cheese in it. But I do make sure I pretty much cover the top of it with the cheddar cheese. So now that we got everything pretty much prepared and cooking, we're going to go ahead, have a little downtime. It's one of my favorite wines. And it's like one of my favorite pastimes, like, when I'm cleaning, cooking, and stuff like that. Get your little downtime in there. Here's to you guys. Cheers. Okay, macaroni's browning. Now I just put my topping on my meatloaf, and I use ketchup, guys. Yes, I do. I learned that from my baby sister. The macaroni, like I said, it's browning. It's got a little more time to cook. In the meanwhile, we're going to get that water boiling, that cornmeal ready. And we're finna make some good old hot water cornbread, guys. Let's get into it. Well, hot water cornbread ain't no secret ingredients. It ain't nothing but meal and hot water. No seasoning, just meal and hot water. And then you're going to put the meal in there, the water, until it's your consistency. I like mine kind of firm. You got to have it kind of firm to form the patties, but I also like to make sure all the meal is completely saturated with the water and is like mixed up really well. And when it comes to hot water cornbread, you gotta cook it to your own liking. I like mine really brown because I like mine really crunchy. Some people don't, some people do. You cook it to the way you like it though. Voila, there you have it. The food was very good. The meatloaf did look a little dry, but it wasn't dry. So at the end of the day, it was good. And with all that being said, goodbye. Peace out.